Hi, this is our getting started video for SiNi ProxSI. So our ProxSI is a universal proxy, and to create one, you're going to need to go up to the Create Geometry section and scroll down to find SiNi Software, and that's where you'll find our 4 object plugins. So to create a proxy, we'll just create an icon out here. And the first thing that you're going to notice is there are 2 sections or 2 options here when we're adding a proxy. One is an internal, the other is an external. Internal saves the proxy data right in your max file, which for 1 or 2 large proxies can be a good thing. External will save it like every other proxy, so we'll just pick that. This is generally if you have a lot of proxies, like a whole bunch of proxies in your scene of different objects like trees, lampposts, and stuff. You'd want to save those more as an external because you'd start to build up a size of the max file that you wouldn't want. So with that selected, I'm going to pick our piece of geometry and we'll just save it as test here, and I'll overwrite what's already there. And you'll see as soon as it goes into creates a proxy, it will drop you into point cloud mode. Now, you can see that there we have a few different types of display modes. Pyramid is going to be your most efficient when having hundreds and hundreds of these things in your scene. The next thing that we're going to see in the rollouts is you have an option to use color or texture variation on these objects. Now, to use this, they cannot be copies. They need to be instances. So if you instance these objects, then color correction will actually work in your scene. If it's not working, just double check that you haven't just copied them. So this will give a variation of hue, saturation, brightness, and contrast, and also can be filtered out by the name of the material itself. So you can exclude a bark texture or only include car paint textures, so and so. We have we have camera clipping, so that will save on it building proxies that it doesn't need in your viewport. We have exclusion splines, so you can animate splines, making these proxies disappear over time. And our next rollout is our Proxy Security. So if you want to lock this down, let's say to 2020, you can lock this proxy down with a password. We'll just put in a password and lock our proxy down. Now, at this point, you'll never be able to see it at full mesh again once it's locked down. And when the expiration date comes into play, this proxy will never render anymore. It'll render blank. The reason we don't show full mesh is because you could actually export this out with capture it with something like Xmesh. So we only show half mesh on this. And the other part is if you were to try and export this out, it would come out with 0 faces and 0 verts if you took it out as a, object plot or a FPX or something like that. It would just come out as an empty object. So it's very good for IP and locking things down. All right, so I'm just going to unlock it, go back to the original proxy, and that's going to put it, now we have full mesh back, and we can go back to pyramid mode. The last part about our proxy is you can export it out, and when I export this, it's also going to go looking through the scene and finding out, do you have any other instances? And if you say yes, it'll export them all out as instances. So it keeps its original position and its material on these, so as soon as you want to throw these right back into, say, a scene with our bulk proxy, you can over here say external file, and we can put this onto, say, into this folder, and we create proxies. It's going to go through and throw everything that was instances right back into this proxy. So we have a bulk proxy here as well. So I encourage you to go through the rest of our videos and sort of see in more detail how to use this. But thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.